you meet this stunning guy on Tinder named Ryan. I think I scooped you up with a country lyric.
I think you did. You tricked me because you really like rap.
I like rap a lot, but I also love country. I mean, Chris Stapleton was just jamming in the car before with us.
You also had like a blonde crew cut, but now you're a full ginger.
I don't know what
That's how I
happened
got
there.
my ginger babies.
I don't know what happened there.
I don't know what happened there either. But yeah, you scooped me up on Tinder. Funny enough, you the first time you ever called me, you asked me if I was a gold digger.
No, I asked you
I have to tell everyone this story.
I asked you at Starbucks when we were having coffee.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
You asked me on the phone the first time you ever called me.
I remember this. I remember asking you at Starbucks.
Well, you don't remember well then because I remember, and you said, "Are you a gold digger?" And I'm like, gold digger? Anyone who knows me, like, I am the furthest thing from a gold digger. Like, I don't...
What do you mean? You got a Jeep Limited.
I don't care about cars. I don't care about purses. I don't wear jewelry. Like, I am...
So you don't want that 5-year wedding band?
I am... It's almost 6 years now, Ryan, so...
Well, we're a little late.
But I am the furthest thing from a gold digger. So when you asked me that, I was like, no. And then I'm like, oh, maybe he's rich. You were not rich.
Well, that's not what your sister said. Shannon says...
You had no gold to dig.
One night, her sister Shannon, which was her best friend, and she's also one of my best friends now. She was very jealous that Kelly had a new boyfriend, and she had a little bit too much to drink. And Shannon, we love you. We tell these stories because we love you. And she was like, my sister's actually chunky and doesn't work out, and she wants a rich husband. Did she not?
I never said I wanted a rich husband.
I want to retire. Dude, we all have the best time ever to start a small business.
If I'm not going to be 100% in, I'm not going to do it.
Come on, man, just be yourself.
Yeah, and
just show up as yourself.
If you don't realize what I'm really about, I'm about freedom, family, and my country. Kelly, are you ready?
I guess.
We kind of sprung this on you last minute.
Kind of?
You're not one for the limelight.
No. No, I think I am one for the limelight. I think I'm not one for the spotlight.
Spotlight.
Yeah.
You want to hide out in the shadows.
I do. I much prefer that.
You haven't been able to get your hair done, so anybody who's judging her hair coloring, you could blame it on...
You.
Me.
I'm going Tuesday, though.
Who are you going to see?
Shauna.
Shauna?
Yeah.
I would use Chinsey if I was you.
Oh.
Make a battle.
Fighting words.
So, you know what this show is all about more than most.
I've seen a few episodes.
You're my beautiful wife. A lot of people are like, who is behind the scenes of this crazy man and everything that he's doing? And you're a super loving, caring, amazing person who has given back in a multitude of ways. You've given back to me tremendously. You've given me 2 beautiful, healthy children and a steady hand when I, at times throughout our relationship, can be erratic with everything that I'm chasing. So I just wanted to say you are equally as good as anybody who sat in that chair, if not better. Although you're not a business owner, we own multiple businesses together as a husband and wife team. And you are my rock. You are special, and I want everybody to get to know you a little bit more and have a little bit, not that we go super private, but a little bit deeper of who we are as a couple and what it's like to operate with someone like me who's a high performer. And your perspective from the woman's point of view, and also just a little bit of your backstory and kind of how you became, a little tougher and the things that you have gone through in life.
All right. Well, thank you. That was... very nice.
Listen, so grew up in Long Island.
I did.
Like, tell us a little bit about your Long Island childhood.
Yeah, born and raised. So I was born in Malvern, and then, my dad was unfortunately in a very bad motorcycle accident in New Jersey. Coincidentally enough, he was commuting to work, and he was on a motorcycle, and he was hit by a car. And he was in bad shape. You know, he was in a coma for a very long time. He survived against the odds. He wound up in a rehab for months and months and months, and it was a lot. I was 5 at the time. And, you know, we'd go visit him, and he had to relearn our names, our birthdays. He didn't know how to eat. So that was a lot. Thank God he did live, but he was never the same, you know? So...
you guys picked up and moved.
We did move. We moved when I was in 7th grade. So I was 5 when my dad had his accident. Unfortunately, because he was never the same, my parents wound up divorced. My mom met my stepdad, Jim, and in 7th grade, they got married, and I moved to Wantagh, which is where I lived, you know, until I met you.
Your parents are still mad at me for that.
They will never forgive you.
That's all right. I'm used to a lot of people not forgiving me. I still love them.
Yeah, I know. But Long Island was great. I mean, you know, I have childhood best friends that I'm still friends with, and I was, you know, a very blessed life growing up.
Tell us about Kelly in high school.
Oh, Kelly in high school. Kelly in high school.
Matt, drunk at the bachelor party last weekend, told me that you had a drinking problem.
Oh, he should talk. Okay. Kelly in high school, she was in the marching band, but she was a cheerleader. She was in honors classes, but she drank beers in the woods on the weekends. Did
you ever party at Jim and Sue's house while they were away?
Sure did. They only found out a couple of years ago. I was really good. My brother, on the other hand, the one time he tried to have a party, he got caught immediately.
Didn't work out for him.
Surprise, surprise.
He's got that luck.
Yeah, he does have that luck, but not me. I had a few ragers.
You were an intelligent girl, but you were also somebody who liked to party.
Yeah, I really I was friends with everyone. I kind of, again, I was friends with marching band, cheerleaders, honors kids classes. I went to a lot of alternative pop punk music shows. So
you're going to tell the people how you wore studded belts and trucker hats?
Lindsay wore studded belts. I never did. I did wear trucker hats. I'm not proud.
Trucker hats. So you
a lot of band T-shirts, Vans.
You're emo.
I was a little emo, yeah. But I honestly, I loved high school. I had a really good time. I did well. Without a lot of effort. I was always just book smart without having to really try. So high school came easy to me. And again, I had some great friends. I had a lot of good times. I liked it.
You had 3 siblings.
Different experience than you, but
3 siblings.
Yeah.
And I want to point that out real quick. That you'll see a lot of contrast here between the two of us. You know, with the couples retreat coming up. You know, the way that Kelly and I were able to battle through different personalities, different upbringings of life. Jim has been a super hardworking man who believes in providing for his family and has done exceptionally well doing it. Your mom is a perfect, I would say, stay-at-home mom. She pays the bills and makes sure you guys are all taken care of and well fed. When I was kind of looking to get out of my house at 18 years old, I hated high school. I was kicked out. So talking about people that could get together later on in life and really make a great power couple couldn't be more opposites than Kelly and I. Most people could give or take me. I have a couple people who love me. Everybody loves Kelly. She's amazing. I want to talk about your siblings a little bit. We just made fun of Matt a little bit. He owns Belmar Plumbing. Matt's crushing it. Beautiful family with his wife, Ashley. He is annoying at 4 a.m, but that's I digress.
I wasn't there.
You weren't there. I was. He almost got shot. You have 2 other siblings, Lauren and Shannon.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your siblings.
So Lauren is the oldest, typical oldest, overachiever always. She made it hard for me because she didn't party. She didn't throw parties at my house. She didn't get in trouble. I was always grounded. And she was always the golden child, rule follower. She still is.
I'll say she still is the golden child.
My younger sister's Shannon. She's 5 years younger than me. She just graduated. We're super proud of her. She just became a nurse. She'll start her new job in a couple weeks, November.
She's single too, looking for
Yeah.
some ladies. So if you're
Yeah.
out there, you want to give Shannon a call, I can give you her number.
So,
You
yeah.
had a great childhood.
I did.
You know, in spite of, you know, having your father get into this tragic accident, see him in rehab,
Yeah.
and then he eventually passed away when you were, what, 14?
No, I was a senior in high school. I was 17. Yeah.
17 years old.
Yeah. So it was hard because, you know, my parents wound up divorced, and he had traumatic brain injury from his accident. And again, he was never the same. He was an amazing father. I have vivid memories as a young kid, 4 and 5. He was wonderful. And my mom always says he was an amazing dad. It was really tragic what happened. But because it didn't work out, we had supervised visits. You know, it was court systems. It was not really how you want to, like, see your dad. You know, it was kind of sucked. And then once we got past supervised visits, he disappointed us a lot. Like, you know, he was supposed to pick us up, and it was, you know, he just didn't show up. He didn't call. So that was really hard. We were really lucky to have Jim, you know.
I was going to say, but Jim was there to pick up the ball every time.
He was. And, you know, couldn't have asked for a better dad.
He's a cranky fucker sometimes, but he's a guy who shows up when it matters.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, it was sad, a lot of disappointment, but again, I'm a very positive person, and, you know, I don't really harp on that. It is part of who I am and whatnot, but I consider myself blessed. I mean, I grew up in a really nice town, a nice house. We went on vacations. I had a great high school experience. I was able to go to college. I was able to study abroad. I lived in Florence.
You're getting ahead.
Oh.
You're getting ahead.
Sorry.
Jeez.
Really wants to slow play
I give you
this
2
one.
minutes in front of the camera. You're going to take up the whole time? I can't get her to talk this much at home. Unless I give her some white wine.
Stop.
So, obviously childhood was super sad, but also super amazing. And that was
Yeah.
one of the best things that I loved about you when I met you, because I can be cynical. I can look at the world through the opposite end of what you look at it as, right?
Yeah.
I can have a cold and I think I'm dying, and you're like, hey, you just have a cold,
Yes.
right? And it's really a big belief in me that opposites attract, and your positivity throughout all aspects of like what you went through. A lot of people end up in a bad place,
Yeah.
and you were on top when I met you. You were happy, you had a good job, you were loving to your friends, you were loving to your family. I saw the way you handled kids. You know, the first couple times we hung out at your family parties,
Yeah.
the kids just took to you. You had a lot of experience with children, and your positivity went a long ways. So you went to college, change to the next chapter. You went to college
Yeah.
in the middle of New York to Cortland,
Yeah.
which is yeah, maybe people in Jersey know that, maybe they don't. I didn't graduate high school, so I don't know many colleges. But tell us about Cortland.
Matt would know Cortland because he went to Syracuse,
He didn't graduate though,
but he went.
so no, he
So
doesn't
he knows
matter.
of
He went for like
Cortland.
2 weeks.
2 years.
He swam in the pool.
2 years,
all the water
Ryan.
left, and he
2
wasn't allowed
years.
back. Tell us about Cortland.
Oh, Cortland was amazing.
Is this why you love the mountains like I do?
Well, no, I really love the mountains. What the heck is that? See that bug?
Don't worry about the bugs.
I love the mountains because I grew up going to Wyndham with my best friend Lindsay. So her family had a house there, and from 7th grade on, you know, she taught me how to snowboard. I don't even know how much time I spent there. It was like a, you know, second home to me. And
So is that why you wanted to go away to Cortland in the mountains?
no, so I picked Cortland. So Lauren went to Cortland, my older sister. And I knew it's a teaching school, and I did know that I wanted to go into teaching. So it's actually the only school I applied to. I didn't have a backup. At the time, it was there was no way I wouldn't get
But
in.
you were
with,
so
with
smart,
the
like-
no, I'm not so smart. I'm not saying that, but like with my grades and whatever, like at the time, it was
I'm just saying,
considered
but
a safe
you
school
are
for
so
me.
smart. Why wouldn't you expand? Was at the time, were you like maybe a little anxious to like leave the family, leave what you knew? You knew Cortland. You've been up there partying with your sister.
I had actually only visited like once or twice. I really, again, it was teaching. It was a state school for monetary reasons. You know, my parents were going to help me, but I had to take loans. And it really just seemed like the best fit. It was far enough, but not too far. It was like a 4-hour drive, 4.5. So it kind of checked all the boxes, and
So how was your college experience?
it was amazing. I loved it. I met amazing people, lifelong friends. My roommate, I met her the one time I visited my sister. I met her through one of her roommates, and we're like, we're both going to Cortland. Let's room together. I didn't really know her, but
Who's
we
that?
did, Carrie. So we did, and I mean, it was amazing. She was in education too, and we met amazing roommates across the hall. Christine and Courtney were roommates across the hall randomly.
And now somehow you're still stuck with Courtney, and now Courtney's stuck with me. So it all goes back to being roommates.
It was the best. We had so much fun. And then again, I did study abroad when I was a sophomore. I lived in Florence, which was again amazing.
How was studying abroad at that age? How old were you?
I was a sophomore. I was probably 19, maybe almost turning 20.
Think about if our daughter's
I
19.
would never let her go. Ever.
But think about you going.
I know.
What do you think the world was different then?
Yes, because like I didn't even have like a smartphone. Like Blackberries were kind of just a thing. Some of like the ritzy girls in
think-
Florence had Blackberries.
You think sex trafficking wasn't a thing back
No,
then?
I think it was.
Because you fall
Maybe I was just
asleep on
naive
trains.
to it. I used to, Ryan.
You get drunk, fall asleep on
I
trains.
used to. I know. I think maybe I just wasn't as educated. Like I'm way more aware of things now.
I think a lot of people are more aware.
Yeah, it just
I
like
think
wasn't a thing.
parents
Like
are more
Facebook
aware.
was like just a new thing. Like you weren't
Like,
like
are a lot of
on
people-
in what?
Evan, Matt, I mean, are a lot of people letting their kids study abroad anymore? I don't know.
I don't know if about within the past couple years. Maddie did when she was in high school.
High school or college?
College. I think.
Yeah, I went college.
Shit changed a lot in the past couple years now.
Yeah, I think it's changed, but I also think like there's been movies about it made now. Like you could go on.
Well, tell everybody about the whole seminar they took you guys in for a day.
Yeah,
Talk
the
about the men
first
that
day
would
we
rape
got
you.
there, they tell you like watch out for Armenian men. They look a lot like Italian men, and you know.
Ooh, the Armenians are going to be pissed at watch this.
Well, that's what they told us. So I mean, they did warn you of things that could happen. It was I don't know. It
You
was
were
crazy.
drinking,
Like I had a phone, but it was like, oh my! I had to go to like internet cafes if I wanted to like check my Facebook. Like I didn't like.
Oh, God forbid you couldn't check Facebook.
But it wasn't even like that at the time.
I know.
I'm saying like I would go to like an internet cafe to like chat with like my then boyfriend, and like it was very, very different. I didn't have internet. I wasn't like sitting on my phone reading about people being kidnapped. It was different. That was 2008.
So would you let Wesley go away?
That's a long time away, so probably not.
Maybe
I'm
Trump.
not letting Colton go either.
Maybe Trump saves the world. Oh, I'll let
Maybe.
Colton go. He needs to learn his
We'll
lesson.
see.
So go through college, study abroad. Did
Yeah.
you ever tell your parents about the space cakes that you ate in the red light district?
I'm not in the red light district. You sound super uneducated.
Sounds like the cafe was a little close. I don't know.
No.
She's lying.
I'm sure I told my mom, yes, I had a space cake in Amsterdam.
We actually were throwing out a bunch of stuff in the garage the other day.
Yeah.
And Kelly was going through all the cards and letters that people wrote her while she was
You
studying
were trying
abroad.
to throw it out. It's not just cards.
I
It
don't
was
know
like all
what it
like
is.
little like. So I had every intention of like making a.
You have like every fucking worksheet you ever made for kids in school
I know.
in the garage.
I'm like a little bit of a
She
hoarder.
thinks the garage is like a dumping ground. You and
No.
Mr. Reagan need to hang out.
No,
You guys have hoarder problems.
no. I had kept everything from because when I lived in Florence, I traveled. I went to Rome, I went to Dublin, I went to Amsterdam, I went to Barcelona, I went to the French Riviera. So I had like all these like little souvenirs and stuff from all my little individual trips. And I did plan on making like this sick scrapbook when I came back, and it, you know, that was 2008, and here we are. I still have it all.
Speaking of French
I'm a bit of a
Riviera,
procrastinator.
we are going back next year
If you qualify.
if I qualify.
Which you will, because you're killing it.
Does a bear shit in the woods? Smokey, tell her. How you like a new son? Shout out to Chuck on Route 7 in New York, right before you cross the Vermont border. The guy's got some sick bears out there carved that he does with a chainsaw. Like, his tongue's sticking out. I mean, come on. Shout out to Chuck. So, you moved through college, you study abroad. What did you learn most about yourself at the time?
In college?
College is over, you know, studying abroad is over. You're now coming back into the real world. You got to become a teacher.
Yeah, I mean, I came back. I studied abroad as a sophomore, so I still had a year and a half. I graduated a semester early from college. So like I did 3 full years at Cortland. 1 semester was in Florence. And then I moved home for the last semester because I did my student teaching on Long Island. At the time, teaching was very competitive, and I thought that by coming home...
Not so competitive now.
No.
Begging teachers.
Begging. So I came home because at the time, I was planning on getting a teaching job on Long Island, and I thought by student teaching, I would have like connections or like just a better chance. So I moved home. I did my student teaching. When was that? 2009, 2010. And then I got a permanent sub position. Was like my first job, which was like I went every day, but I was just subbing. And then I got a job in Brooklyn at a charter school. Scary.
How'd that go?
It was a learning experience.
What's a charter school in Brooklyn mean?
So a charter school it's not a public school. It's owned by like a company. So like when I was first hired, I was flown to Michigan to do like a training. It's like a business. They open these charter schools in like inner city again, its headquarters in Michigan, but they start these charter schools where the school systems are not great, and
predominantly, Black and Hispanic.
Yeah, well, most of my students were Black and Hispanic. Yeah.
So you're like a spoiled white girl,
I was not
wasted.
a spoiled white girl. Excuse you.
All right, but a Long Island white girl coming into this school as a young girl, blonde, pretty girl.
Yeah.
Coming in.
So Nicole actually got me the job.
Well, Nicole
L was teaching there,
Nicole P. Like I get messed up with Nicole's.
Nicole L was teaching there.
Nicole L got you the job.
That is.
It just died.
Wow.
It committed suicide. Did you see that? The bug just committed suicide. I think it's dying. You hear it? Oh my God. It was like the size of a bat.
That's the bug that landed on the fence. And
Kelly,
he said,
sit
don't
back.
pay attention to it.
You're so worried. It's not going to eat you. It's dead.
Whatever.
Anyway, so you got a job in Brooklyn.
And it wasn't even for September. So it was like mid-October I started, which if you're a teacher, you want to start the year off because like the beginning of the year is very important with setting expectations and getting to know the students. So
setting the tone.
It is. And when you walk in,
you read
6
my
weeks
IEP.
in,
So if you read my IEP,
I would have run.
You walk in. How would you have handled me?
I don't know.
I'm curious.
Honestly, I don't think anyone can handle you. I still can't.
So you set the tone. You read the IEP. How would you have done it?
What, dealt with you?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I
would have liked a cute little teacher like you set the tone.
Probably.
Maybe it would have worked. You'd have batted your eyes a couple times.
Maybe.
So you're in Brooklyn. This is a really rough neighborhood.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your experience there.
Really rough neighborhood. A student came in one day and was like, not crying, but sad. I'm like, what's the matter? And he's like, my cousin was shot last night. That is these kids' reality. It's it really put a lot of things into perspective. It was a really challenging job. It was, especially the beginning. But I was only there for a year. It was good. I mean, it was first teaching job, challenging. I mean, teaching your first 5 years is challenging, but it was a lot, but it was a learning experience. It was,
What was the story where you took the kids to a class trip and you guys had to like step over a dead body?
That was my next job. That was in Far Rockaway.
Far Rockaway. So
Yeah.
talk about Far Rockaway for the Jersey people who aren't familiar.
It's part of Queens. So I was in Brooklyn for 1 year. Then I got a job in Queens for 2 years, actually with Nicole again. We kind of like all left
Nicole
the charter
P. or
school.
Nicole L?
We kind of all left the charter school. Rob came. Rob was from the other school. We all went to this public school in
about
Queens.
Big Mike?
We met him there.
All right.
So we kind of all left. We went together, and then I was in Far Rockaway for 2 years. It's like a public school, but they're like academies. So it's a kind of try to make these schools more manageable, make them
Sounds like a
better.
tax trap.
They're much smaller. Yeah, but it's like every school has like its own principal. So it's like a teeny tiny school, and they still have all these big admins. So it's
Again, super
a waste of
problematic
money.
district.
Yes,
Super problematic.
bad neighborhood. Yeah.
So you guys are going to a class trip.
I didn't go, but the sixth graders were going on a field trip, and they were taking
Nicole L.
the
go?
subway. I don't know if Nicole went.
Maybe Rob went.
They were taking
Someone
the
went.
subway, and there was like a dead body like under the train, like crazy.
That goes on every day in New York City right now more than ever.
Yeah.
So to sum it up for Kelly, you're tough. You've been through it. You lost your dad. You taught in some pretty, urban areas of this
Yeah.
country. You're somebody who has seen a lot, been
I
through
have.
a lot, and
Hasn't everybody?
we all have.
Yeah.
Fast forward, right? Let's fast forward your life a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You meet this stunning guy on Tinder named Ryan. I think I scooped you up with a country lyric.
I think you did. You tricked me because you really like rap.
I like rap a lot, but I also love country. I mean, Chris Stapleton was just jamming in the car before with
You
us.
also had like a blonde crew cut, but now you're a full ginger.
I don't know what
That's how I
happened
got my
there.
ginger babies.
I don't know what happened there.
I don't know what happened there either. But yeah, you scooped me up on Tinder. Funny enough, the first time you ever called me, you asked me if I was a gold digger.
No, I asked you
I
that
have to tell everyone this story.
I asked you at Starbucks when we were having coffee.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
You asked me on the phone the first time you ever
I
called
don't remember
me.
this. I remember asking you at Starbucks.
Well, you don't remember well then because I remember, and you said, "Are you a gold digger?" And I'm like, "A gold digger?" Anyone who knows me, like, I am the furthest thing from a gold digger. Like, I don't
What do you mean? You got a Jeep Limited.
care about cars. I don't care about purses. I don't wear jewelry. Like,
So you don't want that 5-year wedding band?
it's almost 6 years now, Ryan. So,
Well, we're a little late.
but I am the furthest thing from a gold digger. So when you asked me that, I was like, no. And then I'm like, oh, maybe he's rich. You were not rich.
Well, that's not what your sister said. Shannon says
You had no gold to dig.
one night her sister Shannon, which was her best friend, and she's also one of my best friends now. She was very jealous that Kelly had a new boyfriend, and she had a little bit too much to drink. And Shannon, we love you. We tell these stories because we love you. And she was like, my sister's actually chunky and doesn't work out, and she's wants a rich husband. Did she not?
I
go?
never said I wanted a rich husband.
I want to retire. So that's how that whole story came about. If you guys want to put me on blast, I asked that because Shannon made those comments, and I didn't have like literally a turkey
You
burger
asked
to
me
dig
that-
at the
you
time.
asked me
I
that-
was broke.
No, you asked me that way before you ever even spoke to Shannon. This was the first time you ever called me.
Every time I called you, your sister and your mother were in there.
No, this was like the first initial phone call, Ryan. It was like a interview screening. Are you a gold digger?
Well, I sift through people. So
I'm so glad I passed the test.
listen, you did with flying colors,
Oh.
no less. But magic happened.
Yeah,
We met each other.
yeah.
Didn't like your sunglass choice that day.
Well, I didn't like your squeaky shoes, so.
It was a squeaky flip-flop, just one.
Okay, but it squeaked the whole walk on the
Well,
boardwalk.
no
I
one
was
told
like,
me
this
that
guy's like a wacko.
there's a 14-mile Puerto Rico boardwalk in Long Beach. Like, that was a long boardwalk.
You were meeting me at a boardwalk. You shouldn't have worn sandals.
I just thought we were going to find like a bar. I was thinking like Point Pleasant, like you could walk in the Jenks, have a drink, talk.
Not like that.
We ended up at Gino's,
It's not like that.
which was very good. I like Gino's. Shout out to
good.
Gino's in Long Beach.
It was good.
We ended up talking for hours and hours, and it never stopped. And as a male who loves women and like wants to be a tough guy, I hate to say this, but I got in the car like a little girl, and I was like, my buddy Phil Matz at the time was working for me, and he was like, yo, how'd it go, bro? And I was like, I think I'm gonna marry this girl. He's like, what? He starts laughing at me, and sure as shit, we got engaged not too much longer. And I don't want to drag out the story, but it's been a rough ride. Obviously, you live in Long Island. I'm here from Jersey.
Yeah, I think it was like 2 years, right? We did like the long distance.
Long distance is I would drive up sometime on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
Your family, and rightfully so, they didn't want someone staying in their house, and, we were still not young, but not old, and we had to like push through. I was living in Jersey, and
Yeah.
you were very close to your family and didn't want to, upset anybody. It was tough to kind of push and pull, but I had a business here.
Yeah.
And you always told me from the get-go, like, I kind of want to get away from here. I love all this, but...
Yeah, and once I started visiting you, like, so in my head, like, what I knew of Jersey was, like, the smokestacks by Newark. Like, I had never been here.
Honor roll student. Thinks
past
about
that.
Jersey as smokestacks.
I had never been to Jersey. That's all I knew. So, when I started coming to visit you...
Long Island car emissions is worse than the Jersey smokestacks.
I'm just saying what my thought was. Like, I didn't know better. I didn't know that, like, there were even nice parts of Jersey. I just, like, I don't know. I never knew. So when I met you, when I started coming here, I'm like, it's, like, super nice here. This is nice. I like it. And we would have so much fun. Like, I'd come down and, like, I remember, like, driving over the bridge and just, like, so excited for the weekend. Like, we would just have so much fun. Like,
travel, did whatever we wanted.
yeah,
Freedom.
like you made me laugh. Like we would hop on the bikes and we'd, bar hop. And then I was teaching, so I was off in the summer. I could come or like vacation, like school breaks, I would come for longer. And like very quickly, I was like, oh, I could totally live here. Like, and now, I mean, I can't imagine not living here. I love it,
But we made that decision.
Yeah.
We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back, and I want to jump into marriage and business. Taking a quick break in the podcast, I want to talk about the Pit 2.0. What is the Pit 2.0? It's made up of a huge network of people across all different industries that are solving problems, creating solutions, and also bringing together a lot of marketing and sales ideas. If you want to get into a Pit group like this, it's very inexpensive, $147 a month. If you want to learn more about it, check out the links and the information below. So we chatted about your life a little bit, chatted about how we met each other. I want to chat about our relationship a little bit deeper.
All right.
Your thoughts on me, how
Are you sure?
Yes. And I want you to be as honest as the day is long. A lot of times in marriage,
Yeah.
there's give and take, there's sacrifice on both ends.
Yeah.
And it's definitely been a lot more sacrifice for you lately in a sense of, really being attentive to the children, feeding them, getting them to bed.
Feeding the children.
As I'm chasing down this dream from a work perspective that we have together.
Yeah.
I want you to talk about your point of view as my wife and then as a mother. So first start with the wife.
Well, from the beginning, like, again, I was not a gold digger. You had no gold. But you've always had an amazing work ethic. And it was one of the first things I admired about you. Like, again, I moved here because your job was here. You were building something here. And I saw that right away. It was nothing like it is today, but, I mean, that was almost 10 years ago, right? So I knew, like, I knew you were not going to stop until you got until you're not there yet, right? But like until you got what you wanted. And it's hard at times, but it's worth it because, again, you're building this amazing business and we're all benefiting, right? Our life is amazing because of that. And if I have to, you know,
Let's talk about, let's be real. Let's give a real life scenario for people out there.
Yeah.
And this is the stuff we're going to talk about at the couples retreat. I went away to Chicago for 4 days. I got invited by a great group of guys from Spring Lake. Craig Lynch, he's, introduced me to that community.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of great people I've met through the Booster Club, through Craig. They go away on this football trip. I haven't asked to go on a football trip or anything like that with the guys in a long time.
No.
And right away, you're like, babe, go. Great group of people. Meet some new friends. Have some fun. Long story short, I go out to Chicago. We go to the Cubs game. We go to a Notre Dame game. I come home. You were exhausted, to say the least. You're chasing around the kids. You went up to Long Island. You came back. You had gone to yoga Monday, and Wednesday night you had book club.
Yeah.
And this is like real life, like into our life a little bit. And you went out late with your friends and, drank a little bit and let loose as a mother who works extremely hard. And it just kind of got in the way of some things I was doing. Thursday, I was going back away, which was Trevor's bachelor party. And, you were frustrated with me. I was frustrated with you.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, we're talking this out right now before I go to this fucking bachelor party. What is your deal?
Yeah. And so I explained to you, and again, like we talked about this. I'm like an avoider, like I don't want to talk about shit. And you're like, sit down, we're talking about this, which is good because it's like making me better, right? Like have to like address shit. But you also go 0 to 100. So you're like, so go back to work. Like, you get a little crazy. And I am so blessed to be home with my kids. Like, and it could be the worst day ever. And I'll still be thankful at the end of the day to be home with them. So like, I was trying to explain to you, I'm like, you can feel both emotions. Like, I'm just venting to you that like, it's really hard.
It's a lot. It's
It's
overwhelming
a lot.
at times.
It's overwhelming all day, every day, and overnight because they still wake up. And I can still be thankful and like grateful and want to be home with them and still feel like overwhelmed and crazy, right? So I was kind of venting and, you were taking it the wrong way and you're like, well, you should just go back to work then and you can get more of your time. And that is real life though. That's like, and we were talking about scheduling stuff. And I was saying how, again, my hair, like, it's frustrating to me sometimes because it's like, I have to like put in your calendar when I'm going to get my hair done, right? Or like, I don't get my hair done.
That's hard. That's not what
it's
normal...
It's hard because the middle of the day, you're like, oh, I'm going to get a haircut. And like, you kind of schedule all your shit in whenever because you don't have to worry about the kids.
To be fair, I don't schedule shit. Matt schedules it. And I'm thankful for that or I wouldn't operate.
Right, but my point is you kind of come and go like with this freedom that I envy sometimes.
It's appeared as freedom, but it is freedom, above and beyond. Like I don't have the kids that you have to make sure
you don't have to think about
dying.
it. You're like, I'm going to the gym, I'm going to the sauna. You kind of work it into your work day when you're working, which is great. But it's sometimes I was trying to explain to you, like it kind of sucks for me sometimes where I'm like, okay, like I have to find a time in Ryan's schedule where, there's a 3-hour block so I can go get my hair done. So that was like our most recent conversation where that
Now, was it an argument?
Was it?
I don't think it was.
I don't think so.
It was a discussion.
It was a discussion, yeah. We don't like have like blowout arguments, like not usually.
But I think a lot of times, everything you're saying is legit, and your emotions are your emotions, my emotions are my emotions.
Yeah.
But I think we're able to go back to what do we want. The biggest thing I do with my one-on-one clients, which you know a lot of,
Yeah.
is what do you want? If I can go and say, this thing I'm doing today, does it trace back to what I want? I could work backwards if I
Yeah.
start with what I want. And our marriage, even with you moving here, we had dreams and aspirations for a family of what we want.
Yeah.
You know, Kelly is not a gold digger, but she likes the nicest countertops in the kitchen that you could fucking find. She likes the
I've
nicest
never-
cabinets that you could find.
I've never picked out cabinets or countertops, so
But your taste is.
you don't even
of-
know that. When
of-
have we ever gone countertop shopping?
Oh, she'll send me a house on Instagram. She's got I'm like, that countertop's got to be like 10 grand. Kelly's got high-end taste.
It's got to be 10 grand, like you did the research and saw. Countertops are way more than that, probably, by the way.
My point is, we had these goals together: a
Yes.
cabin, travel, memories with our
Absolutely.
kids. So we were
And
able to come to a resolution of our conversation
Yeah.
/ mini argument of like, okay, it's okay that you feel that way, Kel. I get it.
Right.
We love each other, and literally within 6 hours, we were texting like, hey, sorry, like,
Yeah, no, I mean, it wasn't like a big thing, but, you know, it's, again, like, I'm super grateful and thankful, and I love being home with my kids, but I don't ever get a second off. Like, it's all day, and then it's, again, overnight, and, like, it's a lot. So,
and we flipped this too the other way. I said, well, Kel, how about you go chase down this type of income? And
I
you
never
would-
could, and you could never deal with the kids.
Never. But this is what goes
Yeah.
back to like, yes, Kelly is overwhelmed. Yes, Kelly doesn't have the freedom.
But so are you.
It's just different.
It is different. And, you know, it's okay to, like, voice that and, like, you know.
You're frustrated.
Yeah, I was just, like, frustrated in the moment. But, like, it doesn't change that, like, I love what we're doing. And, like, I am thankful for our life. And, you know, you're around a lot. Like, you're working a lot. And you may be here, but you're still working. But, like, you can still peek in and, like, see the kids. Or the other morning, you know, we dropped Colton off at school and we went and had coffee with just Wesley. And, like, it's, you know, it's nice to be able to do that stuff.
Yeah, it's a blessing.
It's a blessing.
And we have a good life.
And we have a great life. And we, like, thoroughly enjoy each other's company. So it's nice to...
After this banter, I don't know if people think we like each other.
We love each other. It's nice to be able to spend that time with
Do
each
you
other.
love Smokey?
I love Smokey.
Fun fact, ADD, brought Smokey home from a bachelor party.
No, you
Which,
called me and you said, I'm bringing home something really special.
I got great gifts. I got a throw blanket that's comfy as
You
shit.
were not talking about the blanket. You were talking about this.
Well, he was the special item, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, look at him.
You're like, wait till you see what I picked out.
You love it.
He's great.
You love him. The back to marriage,
Yeah.
I think it's extremely hard. I think it's even harder when you have a high-performing male. Like, yeah, I'm going to say male. Not like he, her, Jim, fucking Ryan, whatever other bullshit you guys want to come up with. Like, I'm a high-driven male, and you said it earlier, I'm not going to stop at anything. I'll fucking die before I stop, and you know that.
Yeah.
And that makes somebody difficult to deal with. I'm aware of that.
Sometimes, yeah.
I'm aware of that. But what I knew and trusted in our marriage the most, as my partner I picked, was this girl is down to ride. Like, she's down to be there as my ride or die, and she's tough enough to handle it.
Yeah.
She's on board. And I'm not calling you a gold digger, but you can't say you don't enjoy the finer things of life. And it takes hard work to do that.
Absolutely. Like,
We go
love...
right to the Woodstock Inn.
Yeah.
It's not cheap to stay.
No.
Chatham Bars Inn. You go to these Airbnbs nowadays. These guys will bang you over the head. $900 Airbnb, cleaning fee, $600
Yeah.
for the night. Before
No.
you know it, you're trying to go 4 days away with your family, and it's a quick $4,000 for an Airbnb at Hunter Mountain. It's
Yeah.
not Aspen.
Yeah.
We enjoy that, but it takes
do.
money.
Absolutely.
Like, think about last year. I was a little stressed out. We had the event coming up. Like, I've never done something like this. I never spoke on stage. Like, does anybody want to come to my show? Like, am I putting on a show? What's going on?
Yeah.
Like, what did we do? We just said, without a bat of an eye, like, we got a sick house and just hung out with us.
Yeah.
And we taught Colton to snowboard. And
Yeah, we went, I think, like Monday to Thursday, and then we actually, like, extended it because they were, like, getting a good snowstorm.
I think that was Dave West.
Dave West, yeah.
He might have
Encouraged it.
Yeah, he encouraged
Yeah.
it. He also left his kid with us randomly.
I volunteered. I watched Brooks while he went to the...
If you don't know Dave West, you need to follow him.
Never gets to go, so it was, it was nice.
No, it was great. And the kid was great.
Love to do that for them.
He got tired. He put himself to bed.
Yeah, he napped right on the couch.
Yeah, he was great.
Awesome.
The life that we're building is something that's fun and special, and it's not of material things.
It's not, but that was my whole point, like, about the whole gold digger conversation. Like,
it's a joke. It's funny.
I know. I'm saying, like, everything does take money. Like, and these days, I mean, everything's crazy. Our bills are crazy. And again, I'm just fortunate and thankful for how hard you work for us. And I know that I work hard too, and it's different.
Extremely hard.
Different capacities, and like we do different things, but like.
Do I want good kids?
Yeah, I think so.
Do I want respectful kids?
Yeah.
Do I want kids that understand our morals and ethics, our love for this country?
Yeah.
And, pivoting a little bit, you have been a teacher inside of a school system for 10 plus years. You were thankfully able to come home, and that was a scary leap. Anybody who's out there owning a business that wants to bring their wife home, so if they have to run out in the morning and get to a meeting or get to a job site or get to the plant, you're not worried about how are the kids getting to school because your wife is there taking care of that. That's invaluable to me. I was willing to chuck. I mean, Matt can attest to it. Evan, Trevor, all of them. I was willing to chuck your income out the window just so I didn't have to get the kids ready in the morning, so I can get my day going that much faster. It's the truth though.
Well, I know. Well, so you did it for a year though with Colton, remember?
Yeah, it was hard.
No, it wasn't a year.
It was a couple. Happened.
It was actually only like a couple months, but
yeah, it was a lot.
It was a lot for you. It was a lot for you. I would lay all the clothes out, everything would be ready to go, and all you really had to do was like dress him. He wasn't even eating food yet. You just had to dress him.
Oh, you mean the first time we left our son with somebody else?
And drop him off.
You couldn't handle that?
I hated it.
No problem, I got you.
But it was only like 2 months, because then COVID happened, and then I was like remote teaching, so he was home anyway. But I remember when I was pregnant with Wesley, and we were talking about like the possibility of like, am I going back? Am I not going back? I was just like, you're like, oh, you're definitely going back. And then I'm like, there's no way I'm going back, because the visual of you getting both children ready in the morning and bringing them anywhere, I just knew that was not in the cards for you.
It would be militant.
It would.
Turn around, turn your butts up, wipe, put the diaper on. We got to go.
Sure.
Don't move. I'm going in the car.
It never would have happened. I know
it's
you.
A lot.
It just wasn't going to happen.
But as a team,
yeah,
as a husband and wife team who have similar goals, at the end of the day, Ryan's not out at a bar flirting with chicks till 10 o'clock at night. Ryan's not out just being drunk with the guys pretending I'm working. Everything is for us. So,
absolutely.
And when we're away from each other, we dislike it. I want you to be at the trips.
Yeah, and I was gonna say that, like, you do a really good job of like, you're not like texting me and like whatever, but like checking in, and like, again, I know like we're so secure in our relationship, so like I'm never like questioning like, oh, he's out in Chicago, like what's he doing? Like I never feel that way. And again, you do an amazing job of like making me feel secure in that, which is important, I think, especially when, you have a spouse who's like chasing this and busy and out at things all the time. Like,
well, you have to. It's like, hey, you're not home and I'm out being a scumbag.
Right.
I mean, I might bat my eyes at a couple blonde chicks. I mean, nothing crazy. I mean,
I wouldn't expect anything less.
Couple cuties out there in Chicago. You at home taking care of my kids. I would never want to be that scumbag that's out doing you wrong. And you know, obviously we know that.
Yeah.
And our relationship is strong because of that trust.
Yeah.
And, you know, and there's never really been a question of it, actually.
No.
From the get-go, which
Never.
is, I think that's a connection in a relationship. And to circle it back to business, like, you have to trust that I'm going to go make the money. I mean, we've had some big tax bills. We've had some big hurdles into like paying for a wedding and getting it, like, literally we got this house. We got the answer, remember, at the rehearsal dinner.
I think it was the inspection. It was like,
No, it was
or something was happening
they
at our rehearsal
accepted our
dinner.
offer at the rehearsal dinner. And I was like, oh shit, we just paid the last wedding
But
payment.
you've always like done a really good job too, making me feel like safe and secure in that. Like, I just know you'll make it happen. Like, it's scary, and like sometimes again, it's there has been so many times where it's like, oh shit, like again we have that big bill due or something, but you're an amazing provider, and like it eases my stress, right?
But it takes a team.
It does take a team. Absolutely.
What you do at home allows me to be, if I think my wife is home drinking martinis at 12, and maybe you've done that a couple times in the summer, if your sister's here, I digress. But if you were drinking martinis at 12 and not taking care of my kids, you know that I will be all over this and the business would be failing.
Absolutely. And I forget where maybe we were listening to something together, but it's like, if you had that worry, then like you wouldn't have a clear head to like go do what you're gonna do.
There's no capacity.
Right? So it's like, it's
just like when a family member gets sick, right? You're crushing at work, and you know your wife comes down with a deadly illness, right? Cancer or something. Like, your head's not in work.
Right.
Your head's at home, you know. So if you're chasing these dreams, and this is for all you young business owners, this is what we're talking about at the couples retreat. Like we are real as fuck, just like we are being right now on camera. Like, we're putting our relationship out there, and I know you don't want to do this.
Yeah.
And this is not for a show. This is just real as fuck, and that's who Kelly and I are. And if you're starting a business and you're a young couple, like, you're gonna be pressed. You know,
absolutely.
Money, kids, and what I've been most impressed with ourselves, we never rushed it, but we hit every goal that we had. The house, the kids.
Yeah.
Like, it's been a blessing. Not always easy, but we've been blessed.
We have been. Again, we've been through, like, you're gonna go through it, you know? Like, there's gonna be shit that
you're gonna get
is
sick
hard.
later in life. Someone's gonna
like
die.
Something, like, there's always gonna be something, but I think, again, like, and who knows where I read it, probably on Instagram. But the most important choice in your life is like who you choose to spend it with, right? Like, we met, we had so much fun together, we loved each other, we immediately had a connection, all this good stuff. But we really fought through a lot of shit too, to kind of get to the other side where we are now, where we're like just kind of building up. And we still have, again, we had, you know, that little tiff the other day, but I mean, there's no one I'd rather do this shit with.
And it's fun.
It is fun. We have so much fun.
Like, we're going to Mexico in like 2 weeks, out of nowhere.
I'd like to thank you for that last minute surprise.
I blame Rob and Keaton. Keaton tells me I'm broke, and then I'm like, okay, I'll stroke you a check, and then I gotta tell him like I'm not broke, and you know, go play his game. But we're going to a little couples mastermind.
We are.
On business.
Yeah.
A couple weeks before our couples retreat. And it's just nice to get away with you. I'm excited. Like, I'm away on business. I love business. I love my friends. I have fun. But, like, I love that you're there.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to say, like, you're one of the guys, but you could be one of the guys, like, all the time.
Thanks.
Like, you're there. You're fun. You're not judging.
Yeah.
You know, if you need to, you can handle your beers at a baseball game or a football game. You're not the girl falling down.
Yeah.
And it's just fun to be able to start getting a little bit of the leash off from the kids. And
yeah, we're kind of like turning a corner.
A little bit.
Yeah.
And it's a lot, you know.
Yeah.
For anybody who has 2 children, they realize, you know, the battle that is, especially if you don't have help close.
Yeah.
But we're able to go away, and live good. We didn't get to get into much politics. I know.
Save for next.
I know as a teacher, a former teacher, you have a lot to say there, but that's for our next episode of Ryan and Kelly.
Oh, okay.
Isn't that like a famous show, right, Ryan and Kelly?
It
Yeah.
used to be. It's not anymore, though, actually.
Do you think they
It
slept
was
together?
randomly on our TV the other day. Now
Do
it's...
you think Kelly and Ryan banged?
No, now she does the show with her husband. Now it's Kelly and Mark.
Like you guys.
She came back. He wanted to get the show because she was banging the other dude. 100%.
No way. No way.
Babe, I love you.
I love you.
You're the best. I know we threw this on you last minute. A little change, a little different.
You did.
We wanted to talk about our relationship, real, raw, and candid. I wanted to tell people a little bit more about you. They still haven't even scraped the surface of how deep, how smart, how amazing you are.
Oh, thank you.
At the couples retreat, they will be able to learn more. And I love you to death. And you're
I love you to death, man.
You're my biggest supporter.
I am.
I appreciate
Believed
you.
in you since I met you, man.
I know. And the supporters and the loyal people, what matters in my life. And you've been the biggest supporter, and you're extremely loyal. And that's what matters to me.
I am.
So cheers to you.
Cheers.
The CEO of our household.
Love you.
Love you. If you enjoyed the podcast and you want to learn more about it, check out the links below.